How the devil. Oh yeah. Oh, Glasgow kiss.
You talking to me? Don't you talk to me, hey?
Anyway, I've got a bit of a mystery today. So, I've been sent this Tosicam amplifier. And the weird thing is, this says Tosicam and the picture of a couple of amps they do, and nothing else. No web address, no telephone number, nothing. Zip, nout, nada. Nothing on the box at all to say who they are and where they're from. So I thought, oh, that's a bit weird. So I went on the email they sent me, and they gave me a link to their YouTube page, which has a huge amount of subscribers, a total of 6. Weird. And they got a video on there showing this amp. It's got a couple of hundred views, and in the description box there's a link to Amazon US, and it looks like they only sell this amp, or these 2 amps here. I've got the little red one there, okay, I haven't got this one. They only sell these amps on Amazon US, and I can't find anywhere else to buy them. So I thought, oh, let's see if I can do some investigating and see if they got a website anywhere. I've had to write it down. So it says on Amazon US that it's sold by Pro PCB. So I went on to their selling page. Nothing on there really much. And then when you scroll down, you can see that the main company is, I apologize to everybody in China if I'm pronouncing this terribly, right? Hui Zhao Tosicam Technology Co. Limited. And I thought, right, okay, let's see if I can find a website for them. And I did a few minutes of having a look on Google. Other services are available. Are they? Yeah. And so you can go on Tosicam.com. So I went on Tosicam.com. Comes up with a blank screen saying not secure. So I wasn't going to go any further. So all a bit weird. All a bit weird. Anyway, let's see if I can solve this mystery. Scooby-Doo and the mystery machine got nothing on me. Ooh. Let's get it out of the box. Ooh. Okay, let's have a look. Let's hope the box doesn't hold any surprises. Oh. Ah! Did I get you? Did I get you? Okay, we got the power supply here. Oh, now straight away I can see a problem. That ain't a UK plug. No way, no how. What the deuce? Let's have a look. We'll see if we can get around that in a sec. Okay, we got some instructions. And we got some instructions there, okay. And again, there's nothing, no website, no telephone numbers, nothing. No one to contact if things go wrong. Oops, can't see anything on there. No QR code, nothing. You know, maybe this is a company just starting out in Class D amps. They might be a small company just starting out. And that's where they haven't got a website set up yet. But it does beg the question, if something goes wrong, who do you contact? Where's the customer service? I don't know. Well, hopefully nothing will go wrong, but you never know, do you? Perhaps you could contact them through Amazon. Hasn't got many reviews on there, but most of them seem pretty decent. Anyway, here's the amp. I like the colour. That's different. That's different. Like a metallic-y red colour, I think. Not sure the camera's doing it justice there, actually, but it's quite a nice colour. Got a black front. You've got a toggle switch for on off. You've got your, let's have a look, the camera there, that's, oh, got the bass this side and the treble that side. It's not a massive thing, but normally the bass is here and the treble's there on most amps, so it might get a bit confusing for some of you. Doesn't have a center indentation there, which again is nice to have, but it's not a massive deal. They seem pretty well made. They're aluminium, aluminum, sorry, my American friends, for those buying it in off Amazon US. And a volume knob. There's no click there, but it has got like a little mark there to see where your volume is at. On the back, we've got your audio in RCAs. This is for your Bluetooth area, your DC in, and your speaker binding post. And probably they're very close together, so it's very hard to undo them. But probably very similar to most amps, Chinese amps. You find that they got tiny little holes, and these are probably the same because of the size of the binding posts. Tiny little holes. Let's see if that amp, can I see that? I don't know. Maybe you can pick that up there. They got tiny little holes, so it's probably only suitable for 16 gauge wire. Not a huge biggie, just use banana plugs or spades. But I think with the spades you'd have to come from the sides because it's not much real estate on the back of here. Anyway, let's get that, see if I can get that plug sorted. Okay, so on here it says input AC is 100 to 240 volts. Well, the UK is 240 volt, and I think the US is 120 volt. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, sorry. It's a 24 volt 6 amp. So I should be okay if its input is AC 100 to 240 volt. I should be able to just cut that plug off and put a UK plug on it. That's what I think. If I die, this may be my last video. No, I'm pretty sure, I'm confident that should be fine. There's no going back now. There we are. Okay, that's all done. Now, if you are ever going to do this, just want to tell you that these wires are really thin. Really thin. And so what I've done, I've put them in a little bit deeper so the screw catches the sort of outer sheath of the wire there, just so it offers it more security. It's not going to pull out at all. I mean, this is pretty secure with this here. And also, I put a 3 amp fuse in. Took the 13 amp out and put a 3 amp fuse in. That's going to be safer. Let's put it back together. Oof. Right, so that's done. Don't need that anymore. Okay, right, let's just go through the specs. So the specs are, and the specs aren't bad actually. Quite surprised. It's got a TPA, Texas Instruments TPA 3116D2 amp chip. I think it's got 2 of them. It's got Bluetooth 5.1 with a Qualcomm QCC 3034 chip, and it supports aptX, aptX HD, and aptX low latency. Now that's not bad. That if it does do that, that's quite impressive. At the very least, what I think these amps should have, at least this day and age, should have at least aptX HD, at least. Okay, now it does 100 watts per channel into 4 ohms. So you're probably going to get around about 50 watts into 8 ohms. And again, it doesn't really give much more on the specs. So I don't know if this 24 volt adapter will give that amount of power. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see how loud it goes later on. Okay, let's open it up and have a little look inside to see if those specs are correct. Let's have a little butcher's, yeah? Little peek. Right, it's not coming apart, so I assume that I have to take the knobs off and undo the bolts at the front. So, here it is. Ta-da! Let's start at the front here. So you've got two op amps, and these are the N5532. Now, are these different to the NE5532s? I don't know, because the NE5532s, they're using a lot of Chinese amps. They're in the V3. Obviously, they're removable op amps. Maybe the NEs are removable, and the Ns only are fixed. I don't know. They do look a little bit smaller, so maybe that's what it is. Then you've got your heat sink here. I've removed the heat sink so you can see the amp chips. You've got the two amp chips there, the Texas Instruments TPA 3116D2. Then you've got some toroidal core inductors. Then you've got some low ESR capacitors. Okay. And at the back here, you've got your Qualcomm, just there. Got your Qualcomm QCC 3034 chip. So it seems pretty legit and it's quite well laid out. Obviously I've taken the heatsink out. I'll put that back in a second, okay, before. And it's got some heat resistant stuff here so the amp chips don't get melted. Anyway, let's put it back together and get it set up. Okay, I've been trying it out. And so far, it hasn't blown up and I haven't burned the house down. I'm sure my wife will be overjoyed. Anyway, I've been listening to it, but I'm not going to give my opinion yet. Oh, I've got a bite. Anyway, I'm going to do a sound test. But I'm going to do a comparison between the Tosicam and the mighty Fuzzy Audio V3. If it can hold its own against the V3, if I could say it, it'll be doing pretty well. I doubt it, but anyway, let's have a listen. what do you think? Let me know in the comment section. I'd like to know your opinion, good or bad, don't care. For me, the V3 was the clear winner. Lot more smoother presentation, slightly bigger sound stage, handled the bass a little bit better. The Tosicam, it's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, you can dial it in a little bit with the tone controls. I left them at neutral to make it a fair comparison. One thing I will say is the Tosicam was a lot louder than the V3, a lot, when pretty low without distorting. Could go well above 90 dB easily, but I don't want to piss off the neighbours. Yeah, I just felt that it did have that kind of, you know, it wasn't a shrill top end, but it had that little bit of that Class D sound to it, I think. Just a little bit. It performed okay. It wasn't bad at all. But compared to the V3, V3 went easy. But here's the thing. You are getting tone controls. You are getting Bluetooth aptX HD. The Bluetooth worked well. So it's not a bad little amp. It's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. Some things that sort of done my head in a bit was if you connect it via Bluetooth and then you want to change to RCA, you've got to disconnect your Bluetooth from whatever device you're using. If it's your phone, you've got to turn off your Bluetooth and disconnect it before the RCA will work. I think maybe that could be something they could improve upon. And also, when you're listening to the RCA inputs, the phono inputs, the light keeps on flashing like it wants to connect to Bluetooth, which I found was a bit odd. It would be good if it sort of sensed that it got cables plugged in and that light was a steady light, because if you're sitting in a bedroom or something listening to this and you've got that going, and unless you wanted a disco, unless you wanted to make it, you know, a bit of a rave, then it's fine. But if you're just trying to relax, chill out, you know, read a book or something, listen to some background music, and you got that going in the dark, it kind of freaks you out a bit. You could cover it up, I suppose. And another thing, which maybe Tosicam need to look into, is that I'm not going to do it now, but if you remember earlier on in the video, I undid this one speaker binding post to show you how big the hole was for the wire. And what it did, it undid the hole in bolt at the back. So when I went to plug in the speakers, I was like, hang on a minute, this is loose. So I had to take it apart again and tighten up the nut on the back of this to stop it being loose. So maybe that's something that they need to look into. Maybe put, I don't know what they need to do, put a little notch on the speaker binding post so it doesn't move the nut on the back. Or perhaps use self-tapping nuts. I don't know what the answer is, but I haven't noticed it on other amps. So if you do get this, I would recommend not undoing them and using banana plugs. Because this one, when I undid it, did loosen the nut on the back, which I had to take apart and tighten the nut back up. So there you go. Right, so what are my final thoughts? Well, like I've already said, I've pretty much said everything I need to. It's an okay amp, but you haven't knew the price of it yet. And this is where it makes it all relative, okay? On the Amazon website, it's $39.99. That's 40 bucks. 40 bucks? What the deuce? That's cheap as chips. The V3, most of these V3 and the other amps are always around about the 100 quid mark, if not more. So they're 2.5 to 3 times the price of this Tosicam. So here's the thing: if you're starting out and you haven't got much money, you want a small budget, and you just want to spend a bit of cash for your bedroom or for your, just put it in front of your PC or something. I don't know what, you'd have to have a DAC if you wanted it on your PC, I suppose, but if you wanted, it's a little lamp, you know, that you can Bluetooth to, whatever, right? It's $40. Obviously, you'd have to get the speakers, but it is pretty cheap, considering it's got Bluetooth BTH HD, it's got tone controls, you know. So apart from the caveats, you've got to think it is only a $40 amp. So there you go, that's my opinion. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Come on. Okay. Anyway, if you got this far, give the video a like. And if you haven't subscribed, Jesus, subscribe, sort it out. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next one.